talking about when they stabbed my celly, Aaron Pike, the white kid in the
No,
hallway?
no, I'm talking about when they was in my unit. I was in A2, and which was one of the worst units. That's what I was when Brian got killed that day. I was right there, sitting outside my cell. When they came in and did that, like you said, you guys were absolutely on point with that. They warned everybody a week. This would always blew my mind. This tells you how about the network of Big Sandy. They told everybody a week in advance, get all your commissary. Everybody, get everything, get all your stuff together Saturday. Because that morning, they was going to do it. Brian, because me and Brian used to make wine together, because Brian was a winemaker as well. Because when I got to Big Sandy, I shut it down on the wines. I was a very good winemaker. And so Brian made wine. So me and Brian was always communicating. But yeah, it was about they went in there that day, man. I seen it. I mean, the way they came out of there, they had that stuff so well organized. Because it was a guy that was already in the unit, the kid with the glasses, I forgot his name, the white kid. He had the shirts already they went in the mop closet, washed up, changed shirts, everything went in a plastic bag. That kid took the plastic bag out the unit. And they didn't discover Brian until after, because it was a weekend. So it was after the count before lunch. It was that, you know how we have that weekend count, a Saturday or Sunday count? It's like
10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they had that count. That's when they discovered him. That's when they discovered him and hit the deuce. Yeah.
Let's talk about this incident, right? You're in the New York car, right? You're from Brooklyn originally, but I think you grew up in Connecticut. You're in the New York car. There's an incident there with a kid named Little Will. I want to talk about Little Will, where the Black Hand, the Mexican Mafia, the Sureños, they end up hitting Will. Tell us about that story, because I think you're the person that gave Will a knife and then had to take it back, right?
Yeah. So I guess what happened was when everybody, your celly included, he got transferred. What was your celly's name?
It depends on what time.
The big guy.
Adam, when he stabbed the CO?
Okay,
Adam from
not
the Bronx.
Adam.
Adam Oliveri was my celly, and then he stabbed the CO.
There was a black dude that was running the New York car when I first got to Big Sandy. He was a big muscle dude, tall. Anyway, real quick. So Will had a big case, and on Will's case, he was the head. He had a big drug case. He had the moral crew. So I guess some paperwork, when guys got transferred to Big City to other USPs or wherever, they met other guys. He was like, yo, who's there? Whatever. Will's name came up. The paperwork got shipped to Big Sandy. So I was sitting in a unit. Will comes into the, remind me of that Money too. I was there when Money did that too. Will comes running to the door. Yo, beat up. I go, what? He said, come here, man, it's important. So I went I said, what's up? He said, yo, give me a knife real quick. I said, what's up? He said, yo, just give me a knife real quick. That was my man. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really no hesitation involved. I ran upstairs, went into my mattress, got some steel, came back out, handed him. Jay knew another dude from Brooklyn. He had the paint truck. So I guess what they did was, I guess the plan was this. Because Will had everything. He had a store. He had everything.
He had that money over there.
Right, he had money. So they robbed him first. But he was supposed to get hit up. So he was supposed to get hit up and before he was supposed to never make it back to his cell. So the dudes that were sent to hit him up chickened out or bullshit, didn't never do it. So Jay New is telling Will, don't go back to the unit. But Will's way smarter than the Jay New. So Will's like, what you mean don't go back to my unit? He said, yo, just don't. But he's not telling him nothing. So as they're walking and talking, he says, I think they robbed you. He said, so that's when Jay New was telling Will on the walk over there, yo, there was some paperwork, blah, blah. That's why he came running to me with the knife. But I don't know nothing about the paperwork yet. I give him the knife. He takes off. Jay New said, yo, Dub, go get your knife back. I said, what you mean? That nigga ain't right, man. Go get your knife back. At this time, Will is damn it because he lived upstairs. He's on his. So me and Supreme right behind me. We go up in the room. Will sees his cell. I come up like maybe a few seconds after he discovered his cell was empty. I mean, they empty. I mean, they didn't leave him a cup. So he's screaming. He going crazy. And that's why I said, yo, Will. He said, yo, man, I can't say. I said, yo, give me my knife. He said, what you talking about? Look what these niggas did to my cell. I said, can't talk until you give me my knife back. He gives me my knife back. I said, sit down, relax. We're going to talk. This other kid that's in the unit from New York, I said, yo, go stash this. In case while we talking, they run up in the cell, whatever. I don't want to get caught with the knife. So we start talking. That's when he tells me a story about the paperwork. We go over to Lou's unit. I said, I don't think Will's hot. I don't think he's hot. We go over to Lou's unit. Me and Supreme sitting by. I go send one of the guys because he's locked in the door. I go send one of the guys. Lou comes to the door. He said, yo. I said, what's this thing about Will? He said, yo, you didn't see the paperwork? I said, nah. So Lou goes to give me the paperwork. At that time, little Will coming up the stairs. When Lou sees little Will, he's by the door. Lou sees him. He doesn't slide the paperwork under the door. So Will is telling Lou everything. Yo, man, these dudes did this or whatever. And Lou was just looking at him, giving him this look.
People that don't know who Lou was, man, he was a very serious dude, man.
Yeah, Lou just gave this dude the look, man, and that's when I knew. I said, yo, Will. I said, yo, just go in. He said, man, I'm not going in. He was at it. He was like, I said, yo, listen to me. They coming for you. If you still out here after lunch or you go in that chow hall, they coming. I said, go in the hole for a few days. Look, I'm just rocking them. I'm saying, go in the hole for a few days. Let me talk. Let me get you out. But don't stay out here because they're going to come for you. He goes in. When he went in, administration wasn't too, the assistant wardens loved him because he was one of that program they had where they spoke with the kids. They had like the Scare Straight program. And Will was one of the...
That was with the assistant warden, Miss Lineweaver.
Miss Lineweaver, exactly. Miss Lineweaver. She did not go. So me, Hector, and Lou, it's us in the hallway. We walking around the corner. Will had already been in a hole a week now. So we coming around the corner. She stops us. Fellas, come here. She says, Moral's not hot. So, all right. Hector, Hector. All right, no problem. She said, I'm serious, guys. If you want to come in my office right now, I got the paperwork. You can look at it. This is how the politics was, like, really. So we said, nah, it's cool, because I'm bringing them out, and I don't want no shit. Bring them out. But they don't. They bring them to the STEP program. They just started the STEP program because they was overwhelmed with the hole. They didn't have no room in the hole.
They had that step-down program over there in C building, I think.
So I guess at that time, that's when the Black Hand stepped to us on the yard and they said that Will owed like $4,000 or $5,000 because at the time of that, Will had their work. So the dude was dead serious. He was like, yo, bro, he owes us. Y'all checked him in and everything. So, I read the paperwork. I stayed up all night reading the paperwork. And I highlighted it because, that Will was considered a friend, I'm not going to justify anything. And for all the people that don't know, but know about the incident, let me just say this real quick, because this is really important. This is what Will did. If you know Will, he has the gift of gab. He's a con artist. When they caught him that day, when the feds caught him, Will was trying to finagle a way to touch those streets. So he was telling the feds, I'm the biggest drug dealer in Brooklyn. I can give you this murder, this murder, this murder, this murder. That's all in the paperwork. I can give you this. Even if you want me to set these dudes up, and I got to get back out in the streets. This is all in his paperwork because the officer testified in Will's trial. So this is how it went. When Will got arrested and they decided Will was trying to make a deal with them, he was trying to touch the streets. This is how it appears to be in the paperwork. They didn't go for it. So now when they charge him and Will goes to trial, the cops from the initial arrest come to testify. So they're testifying to what Will said to them. You understand how it?
Well, I know what it was. I think he was trying to tell them whatever so he could get out and take off. But once, he did that, it put him in a bad light. People that wanted to hate on him. Really, he was trying to con his way out of jail so he can get to the street and get the fuck out of here.
Right.
But when you're in a place like Big Sandy, people ain't trying to hear that. They're like, yo, this is what it is, bro, and we're about to demolish you. So eventually the Black Hand gives the call, and they stab Will like 50 times, right?
Well, more than that. They try to negotiate with him first. Will's mouth. So they sent guys in there purposely to talk with him, send the money. They even, I think, from what I heard, they even said, just send us half. So Will said, yeah, but then wasn't sending it. And that's how Will was. He was a spin artist. So when they approached him, he talked shit to one of them. Yo, tell that motherfucker stop sending me messages. He'll get it when he get it. We was all sitting in the chow hall. I was standing out in the hallway talking with somebody when they hit the deuces that day. They wheeled his body. All I seen was his little hand with the tattoo. They had him covered from foot to head. And, you know, he's a little dude. I thought he was dead.
I was shocked that he didn't die, man.
Yeah, and then when he got up in the hole and he lived and got back from the hospital and he lived, he was sending a lot of threats to the compound. You think somebody would learn their lesson, but nah, he didn't. It didn't even affect him mentally. I've never heard anything from him again. So
supposed to lay up in there and lick his wounds and just move on, but
it's the same thing.
I remember when all that stuff was going on, man. Unit to
there?
unit, because I was in the unit with Lou. You know what I mean? I was in what was it, 8-4 back then?
Yeah, upstairs.
Yeah.
It went all the way up.
And Lou lived up in the back, almost in the third or fourth cell from the stairs.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say that, but I didn't witness Will's stabbing. That AB, I mean, Big Sandy. I mean, when is it? It was so many of them. I mean, it was crazy, man. It was. I mean, the thing with Hector, it would get losing his eye, and Hector was like, he was like how can I say it? He was instrumental to the car. And see, the politics of Sandy, you could be cool and just have one disagreement, and depending on the degree of that and the person, everything flipped. Everything in Big City was rocked to sleep. No one, the money, and that kid from Cali,
I want to talk a little bit about that money incident. I mean, I remember he ends up, the dude does something to money over the TV. I think I talked to Dog about it before on one of my interviews. He does something, man. They put him in that step down program. They let him out. He hides in his shower, and then, I mean, go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, now let me tell you something. Money was a good dude, and I'm gonna tell you why. I had a lot of love for Money. When I first got to Big Sandy, they was on lockdown for murder. When I first got there, I went straight in the cell with a North Carolina dude, and I was in that cell room for a week. Now, I had already been in like 3-4 institutions by the time I got to Big Sandy, so I know how to bid. The dude from North Carolina, the week we was in the cell together, we got cool. So when they took it off lockdown, I went to the yard. Money was the first person I met in the unit, because remember, I came in there on lockdown. Money, he introduced me to everybody. He said, yo, this is the homie. Money, that's how Money was. We was talking. So Money was cool. Every day we had the first rec call, I go on the yard, because I'm a yard. I stay out there until the last, lunch. I think they do the lunch recall. So my cellie would have the towel up over the door every morning. Now, Chad, if I'm out the cell all day, when I come back, you shouldn't be nowhere around. That's how the cell thing go. But he would have the towel up on the door. So we had a little conversation, and he started to get a little, beside himself. So one day, me and Money was coming in off the yard, and the door was up. Money said, yo, you better hurry up, Dub. It's lunch, man. I can't get in my cell. Because you know how you can't go in your sweats. This joker had the door. I'm standing out there. My unit went to child and damn near back. I'm fuming. So I opened the door with the towel and everything. This cocksucker's laying on the bed with his headsets. I put my clothes on. I look at my piss right there in front of him. Not with my back against him, purposely antagonizing. Go up, change out, talk to the police. He lets me out. I go to chow. Come back. When I come back, this clown said, I just got to Big Sandy. This clown says to me, yo, B-Dub, let me talk to you. I said, what's up? He said, yo, man, when you see the door blocked, you got to respect. You don't just open the door and come in the cell. And I just stared at him. I said, are you serious? I shot out the unit. I shot out the cell. I said, Money, give me a knife. Money said, yo, what's up? I said, give me a knife real quick. I got to handle something. I went in there. Money brought me in the cell. He gave me the joint. I went back into my cell. I told that nigga, I said, yo, you got 5 minutes to find a cell and get up out this cell. He says, what? I said, I didn't pull no knife. I had it. I said, I'm giving you one option, 5 minutes to get out this cell right now. You going to do it, yes or no? He said, but he at this time, his lip is trembling. He said, I was in the cell first. I said, I'm asking you one more time. You leaving the cell, yes or no? He left. He went upstairs. He told the North Carolina car, whatever, they gathered up. They shot caller came downstairs. He said, yo, the homie said, kicked him out about something that he was in the cell first. I said, give him a knife. Unless you ready. By that time, everybody from the car is already behind me. Money's standing right there by my side. He said, yo, give him a knife. So Money had my back. So when that incident happened with Money, I tried to like defuse it. It was over the TV. The TV was set over, it was a timer because guys were learning about the program and they were setting the remote control on a timer. So they would change the channels automatically. So Callie was watching the TV. I forgot, we called him Callie. So he's watching the TV and it turned because it was going to a movie. So Callie looked around because he was into whatever program. I was watching the CNN in that TV when it changed. So when it changed, I didn't care because I was watching both TVs. It looked like Money changed it because Money is walking out, smiling. And so Callie said, what the fuck you changed the TV for while we watching it, man? So Money just looks at him. I didn't change the TV. It's on a timer, dumbass. That's what did it, the dumbass. And so when Money said that, he said it as he was walking by. Callie said, it's not me. It's set on a timer, dumbass, and walked a few steps in front of Callie. And Money looked up to watch the TV. That's when Callie he hit Money and knocked him out with one punch. Money was unconscious right there on the floor. And police hit the deuces immediately. And the thing about it, when they dragged Money out, they dragging him out, a big ass knife fell out of his pocket. Big ass knife. And he went to the hole.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he went to the hole, and they I guess the way they did it, if you made the peace, they made you both get in the cell for 3 days together. So Callie and Money made the peace, and they put him in the cell for 3 days together, and they survived. They let them both out, but it was politics that I think that Money was under. You know, Money was tied to politics. That kind of forced his hand.
I mean, Big Sandy was definitely a dangerous place. But let's talk a little bit about, before we get ready to go, you get out of prison. How long you been free?
8 years.
Got out, you started doing some big things, right? You were working. Tell the people where you were working and some of the stuff you were doing.
I started working for CNN. This was before I got laid with COVID. So basically, when they had guest speakers, my job was a concierge. So I would go pick them up, arrange the limo drivers, and arrange for them to come to the studios and sit down. Or I was kind of like a personal assistant to some of them. I got the opportunity to work with so many, like from Mariah Carey to Professor Henry Gates. And like I sent you some of the pictures. I was at, I went on with a lot of shows, award shows. So COVID hit and it killed my vibe there. What's her name? Deborah Lee. I was with Deborah Lee for like 3 hours in the limo with her, rode around with her. So since I've come home, and let me just say this, because I know I told a lot of war stories and I was all over the place, but after that time and type of person I was and the mental I had created for myself to survive 15 years, it desensitized me out here. So I have a woman that's 34 years that, was riding the bed with me. You know, it was hard, you know, to interact with that part of the relationship and still, you understand? I mean, I was so desensitized. It was difficult for me. So what I did, you know, I went and did therapy. So, you know, I went and that was the first thing to healing. I started therapy with Kevin Holmes, African American, a wonderful brother who helped me so much along the way to 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 debrief all that penitentiary shit because that shit was embodied in me, and we don't know the effect until we start interacting. Everything I dealt with was personal because in order to survive in federal prison, you have to be very analytical of everyone. You know, part of the training they teach the COs, they say you only with those inmates 8 hours. They got all the time in the world to study you. And that's what prisoners do. They study. And everything prisoners do when they watch TV, what do we do about the reality shows? We analytical. We always saying she could have did this or we're judgmental and everything and critical of everyone. And I brought that home with me. And it was hard for me to interact with jobs. You know, as far as when I did good, but there was things I took personal. You know, if somebody made a comment, they didn't mean it. So I did the therapy for like 3 years. And I still, you know, it's still open door policy for therapy, but I did it in order to get back on track and to be successful. I'm buying my first home. Man, it's like a home. I got my first, you know what I'm saying? I got a beautiful home now, you know. I'm well, right now I'm the manager for Advance Auto. I'm the general manager. I give people jobs, especially from DC who are coming home from the joint. They run across a lot of dudes from DC. I just ran into another brother named Bosco who he was in Big Sandy too with me. You know, we connect. I connect with a lot of dudes, and you know, freedom. When you return back here, it's not easy because you know there was so much. But I conditioned myself. You know, as far as my credit is like my child. I babysit my credit score. You know, I got every credit card from Nordstrom's to Saks Fifth Ave. You know, and you know, so I mean, I'll never be back in the 8x4 ever again. To make a long story short, you know.
That's what's up, man. I'm glad to see you're out here doing good. You know what I mean? And you're real close with, you know, someone that I treat like a brother, man. Dog, Gilbert Stites. You and him were very, very close at Big Sandy. You know, and
that's a story I really wanted to share with your viewers, and maybe another time. But that was a very unique story. I think we should have started with that story, but.
Well, I think we're going to do that. I'm going to probably break this into 2 parts. So they'll get part 1 today, part 2, the next day or whatever. And then we'll probably bring you back and we'll do a little 20, 30-minute video about that, what happened with Dog. But look, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. And I want people to realize, man, that, you know, we have been through the trenches, man, through the dungeons. And that shit is real in there. And when you come home, it does affect you. You know, we come home thinking, nah, I'm good. And when you get out here, the real world is the real world. And you're doing great things, man. And there's a lot of young brothers, man, that are, you know, maybe struggling right now and thinking, damn, I just got out, man. Life is hard. But you're an example, man. You became the change that you seek to see in other people. And you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
So what message would you have to them brothers that are coming home from prison right now thinking, man, I'm about to go back to the street, man?
It's going to be a lot of temptation. It's going to be tough. And there was times when I had opportunities, you know, and I was like, man, I can't wait for this. It's the waiting game. And we as, you know, what they call us, ex-felons or whatever, our impatience is like, phew. But you have to have that patience. You have to have that determination. You got to set your mind straight and you got to set it and be determined to get it because it's here. It's a million ways to make money outside of drugs, a million ways. The drug game is all run by drug users now. You know what I'm saying? The majority of you go in the streets, when I go back home into those neighborhoods, all those guys that are selling drugs are using drugs, you know? So, you know, There's a million ways. E-commerce, the internet is the biggest thing for us right now. You can sell stuff on Amazon, Walmart, whatever. They have the affiliation program. A lot of companies are incorporated affiliation program where you can be affiliate and sell their product. They set up the website for you and everything. I put a lot of dudes down. There's the CDL, Big Boo, my man. He's got everybody. He's training for the CDL. There's so many other ways besides the drug game.
No doubt. Listen, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I'm going to get ready to close the show. You know,
Okay.
You shared your experiences. You've been through a lot of stuff, man. And you know what, man? You're shining and you're doing great things. So I definitely appreciate you, brother.
Yes, appreciate you, bro.
I'm going to tell them people, man, if you haven't already, man, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video. And
He's
make
doing
sure you
big
comment.
things, y'all. He's doing big things.
I appreciate you, brother. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.